You'll see a little live. Hello,
and we are live.
everyone.
How's it, Jeff fam? Welcome to Jeff Ed with Coach Ed and Coach Liz. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between HIIT training and resistance training. But let's give a couple minutes for everyone to show up. How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing very well. I'm so excited to hear this, Jeff Ed. I think you're the absolute perfect person to chat to about this. And I'm excited to have fun. So guys, if you're checking in, please let us know you're here. Swipe in. If you're with a coach, let us know who you are with. If you've got any questions, we're here to answer. So pop them in the comments. We can see you guys. And we'll right at the end, we'll have a tiny little Q&A where we can answer some of your questions.
Doesn't matter how weird, how silly you feel answering the questions. Just ask whatever you feel like asking, and we'll do our best to tackle them.
Awesome.
So tell me, Liz, what kind of training do you do? What do you get up to these days during lockdown?
I found during lockdown, probably the best thing, thankfully I'm part of Jeff, but I think during lockdown, one of the best things was that we actually learned that our at-home training can be as effective, even probably more effective than our training, and it was our main product for very, very long. So I think everyone was doubting when lockdown hit. They were like, how are we going to survive without the gyms? And we were like, okay, no, hang on, we've got a solution. And I really found during lockdown, it's something that saved me, that I could just, the intensity of working from home and living from work, that I was able to just get up from my desk and do a workout, and really like push myself really hard, whether it was for 30 minutes or for 45 minutes, but I was able to get my heart rate up, maintain whatever I had done, and even I had better results just with my HIIT training. And I don't think I really missed the gym. And right now I've actually frozen my account as well. So I'm not actually going back because it's still super, super valuable for me just to have that, to save the time. So it's 20 minutes back and forth. For me, it was just the solution. And you?
No, it was like because I'm a competitive powerlifter for those viewers who are watching who don't know me yet. So I was all about heavyweight training. That was predominantly what I did. And then when lockdown hit, I wasn't quite prepared for the length lockdown was going to be. So I started looking at alternative ways to keep fit and keep strong. And I found there's a lot you can do at home with bodyweight resistance. There's a multitude of ways to make it challenging and effective for you. So I was quite pleasantly surprised, even though as being a coach, you kind of know these things, but you don't know it until you really do it yourself. So I was really pleasantly surprised with the results. No, it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it's like you just said, like when you're a coach and you're a trainer, you know these things work, you know the principles behind everything else, but until that's your only choice and you just go, wow, this is actually quite unbelievable. So yeah, it's been a good learning for us as coaches as well. Okay, guys, we've got a couple of members checking in. I see Nicole. Hi, Coach. Here for Coach.
Hey.
Haley. Carla is here. Hi, Carla. Rosalind says, Ed with Ed. A little play on that. Hi, guys.
Yes, sir.
We've got Leslie checking in. She says she loves this information sessions. Coach Kerry is with us. Hi, Coach. And also Jade, so lovely. My gorgeous Cindine is with us as well. Lovely Cindine, so nice to see you. And then we've got
welcome everyone.
Yes, we've got Candace. We've got Capano. Hi, Capano. She's a big believer. Oh, I lost that. What's Capano saying here? She's a big believer in HIIT, but she worries about her knees and joints and lower back. She's asking for a friend.
We can definitely give some information around that topic.
Awesome. Michelle Rogers is with us. Hi, Michelle. Michelle is starting her one-on-one very soon. I'm so excited for her. Renata
welcome,
says,
Michelle.
hi. Coach Adrian's with us too. Hi, Adrian. We've got Allison, Rosemary, and we've got Jenny. Megan James is saying hi. Ooh, so we've got a lot of members checking in. So lovely to see
there
everyone.
There are a lot of members in. So I think everyone's pretty much joined up. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of today's session. So we're talking about the differences between HIIT and resistance training. So HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. Now you might be asking, okay, what do all those fancy sounding words mean? Well, exactly that. It's training which is at a high intensity using intervals. So interval training can be very dynamic. You can do it in a very broad and varied amount of ways. The whole point is you're doing a high intensity bout of work followed by a set amount of rest. The work periods can be as short as 10 seconds and up to as long as about a minute. You might be thinking that 10 seconds to a minute doesn't sound very long. And if that's your question, you probably haven't done proper HIIT training yet. It is full on, flat out, all out effort with a little bit of a recovery period to recover enough to give another bout of full on high intensity work. So that's HIIT training in a nutshell. It's dynamic, it's vibrant. And the best thing about it is you can pretty much do it anywhere you are because it requires a minimal amount of equipment. The counter opposite of that today is weight training. Weight training is a subset of resistance training where you do a number of exercises using external load to create a stimulus. So typically, you know, you think of you're at the gym, you're doing bicep curls, you're doing barbell squats, bench press, that sort of thing. The problem with that sort of type of training is that you're bound to, it's a very equipment heavy type of training. You have to be at the gym, and given the current dynamic, the current economic situation we find ourselves in with the pandemic and all that, it isn't always a very sustainable way to train right now. Gyms are still finding their feet. It's not as convenient. You know, we have to book to get our sessions in. You can't do it any way you are. Still an awesome way to train, but a little bit less convenient given the economic times we find ourselves in. So now a question was posed on the Jeff Together group a couple of weeks back. I cannot quite remember who posed the question. As soon as I saw it, I loved it, and I couldn't find it again. It got drowned out because we hit 50,000 members. So there's just so many comments flying in and out. It was really hard to track. But we see your questions, we see your comments. We're looking out, guys. We're taking note. So the question was posed. She wanted to know what the difference between HIIT training and resistance training was, and what kind of benefits can you expect from either or, because she's under the belief, or a lot of people have told her, that the only way to change your body is to do heavy weight training, and that's the end all be all.
Yeah.
Now, something most people don't realize is weight training is a form of resistance training. It tackles the muscle fibers under resistance, and that stimulus creates a demand on the body. What you don't quite realize is that HIIT training is also a form of resistance training.
Exactly. Your body weighs something.
Your body has weight to it. All you need to do is challenge your muscles under a given load, whether that load is a weighted barbell or just your own body. Your muscles don't know how much things weighs. All your muscles know is how hard are they working. Exactly. Now, with HIIT training, there's a variety of different methods you can use to make it challenging, stimulating, and create the ideal body that you're looking for. For the vast majority of people trying to lose a little bit of weight, tone up their bodies, look slim and trim for summer, we got our September challenge, Kickstart to Summer coming up. There's a variety of different ways that you can achieve that body. But HIIT training, the benefits of that are, it's convenient. You can do it anywhere. It is challenging. It has been shown to increase VO2 max, equivalent to cardiovascular training, but in a much shorter duration of exercise time. Exactly. So HIIT training is quick and efficient. It's actually amazing how much you can do with HIIT training. And there's so many exercises that you can pick from that you can really custom tailor it to you, your goals, and your needs. For instance, here at Jeff, we have a variety of options. The question by Capano earlier, what if you have like knee issues, back issues, you're feeling like, I'm not ready to train that intensely. How can HIIT be modified for me? Well, here at Jeff, we have a variety of options, both high impact and low impact, to suit anyone at any point in their fitness level, whether you're a higher level athlete or you've been a couch potato all of lockdown, you're a little deconditioned, you're not quite ready to get up there. low impact HIIT training has been shown to be quite sustainable for those who are not quite ready for high intensity exercise. It builds you up slowly getting your body ready, stronger, building up a solid foundation until eventually you're ready to handle higher loads. So any coach worth his salt can be able to degress things, put things at a comfortable level for you, where you can slowly start to build your strengths, build strength in your legs to protect the knees, in your core to protect your back, and slowly work your way up into a point where you're somewhat, where you're somewhat pain-free, capable, and we match it to your level. What most people don't realize, the majority of knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, a lot of the time, those issues stem from muscular weakness. Like being weak physically is detrimental to your own health. And HIIT training is a very, very structured, overall building set of workouts where you can slowly start to build strength around these joints without it being as dangerous as something like heavy resistance training in a gym with weighted load. If you find that you're already not strong enough to support your own body weight without your knees feeling sore and achy, then you're definitely not strong enough to start adding external load to that. So that's when the HIIT training also takes a little bit of a win.
That's very, very important. If we're adding more, we're actually overloading those joints, and the muscles are not supporting the joints to start off with. Now we're adding more weight when we've got a perfectly good weight here, and we can get a huge volume of work in. So very good point.
Yeah, and it just goes down to how the human body was designed. The human body is designed to move itself. It's pointless trying to add all this external load when you haven't even mastered your own body yet. So I find getting everyone to be able to do a basic body weight squat, basic body weight push-ups, and now using HIIT training to make it dynamic, make it fun, make it challenging, slowing down the tempo of things, increasing the tempo of things. It's very dynamic and universal. And it is something, why I love it so much, is something that everyone can do. Whether you're a toddler who's just now starting to get into movement and is just starting to discover how their body works, or you're a little bit older, you haven't exercised the majority of your life, you're a little bit resistant to starting something too intense, everything can be tailor-made to suit you.
And Ed, one of the other benefits of that is because the intervals are timed, everyone can go at their own pace. So it's not like you've got a set rep, you've got your sets and you've got your reps where you have to actually complete all of them. When you've got a timed round, if you and I are doing it together, you might get more reps, might get fewer, but I'm going at my pace and I'm going at a controlled, good form, concentrating on the right things and not pushing my body further than I could if I had one load. So I had a certain amount of weight and I had to lift this a certain amount of sets and reps. So it's a bit more versatile there. You're in a bit more, you're in more control as someone performing the HIIT movements when it's a timed round. So you can basically go, okay, I'm seeing Jonna and Jules. I can't keep up with Jules, but I can get my max effort and my max reps in at the time allocated. So there's a bit more flexibility there, which I find is also very, very valuable. And of course, we've got our lit classes. So not to forget our offering with our lit classes. So those are way slower. They're also timed. They're also high intensity, but they're not impactful. So it's also slightly better for those who do need to strengthen and support their joints a little bit more. We've got that, which is a lot of the cueing. A lot of the movements are slowed down with better sort of cues. And what we've got in that situation is you can increase your pace, even if it's low impact, and you can't, you don't have to keep with the pace that the instructor is going at. So yeah, definitely loads and loads of benefits. Edgar, I saw a post now. One of our members has asked, how many HIIT sessions do you recommend in a week? What would be your recommendation?
Well, I believe in being active, moving around, and being fit. So the human body was designed to move. So you want to do some kind of form of activity every single day, whether it is just a walk or something like a HIIT session. You do want to be moving every single day. All we're doing is varying the intensity of our movements. So
absolutely,
since HIIT is a lot safer than other traditional forms of exercise, it's using your own body weight, your own capabilities, and you can vary things such as like your how much work to rest you're playing with. You can do as little as 10 seconds of work to 50 seconds of rest, which gives your body a nice good stimulus, a nice good hit, fire into the body, making you work, but also giving you plenty of time to recover in between sets. So because of the nature of HIIT training, you can do 5 HIIT training sessions a week, allowing for a rest day somewhere to split the session. So you don't really want to do all 5 at one straight during 1 week. You want to rest somewhere there in the middle. But it's perfectly safe to be doing about 5 HIIT sessions a week.
And for our members who are asking, because our HIIT sessions are 30-minute, and I see some of the questions coming through, they're asking, can they do multiple HIITs? So if they want to take it up to an hour, I mean, in my opinion, it's fine, depending on your cardiovascular ability and your strength and your endurance. Some members, and this is where it gets very, very dangerous to compare yourself. It's obviously at your own pace. But what would you say to those clients who are, or those members who are saying that they see multiple dots that everyone's accumulating? And of course, we're going into September where we're doing the 30 dots for 30-day campaign. And with that, it's also very easy for us to overtrain. So where is the balance there, and where should we listen to our bodies? What would you recommend?
Well, typically a standard HIIT session should last somewhere between about 30 minutes to about 45 minutes, give or take. And if you're at the fitness level where you feel like you can handle a little bit more than that, the problem with doing more HIIT sessions on top of each other is you start to get a little bit of diminishing returns. Eventually, your body has like used up the benefit of something, and adding more on top, you're not going to get as much out of it as you're starting to put into it. So it's best to try and focus on getting as much movement and intensity as you can in that 45-minute session. And if you're still feeling energetic, you can do a little bit of a top-up, maybe something a little bit more steady state cardiovascular based, or getting in a Jeff flow session and stretching, getting some yoga down, and try and stimulate your body in a slightly different direction in order to still get as much out as you're putting in. It's all about managing your effort.
Yeah, and just finding that balance. More isn't always better. You know, they often say, you know, when everyone compares themselves, they go like, someone is doing 3 HIIT sessions, and that is, in my opinion, a little bit too much for a day. We also need to look at balancing it out with, you know, we're strengthening and we're shortening our muscles, but we also need to put them through the full range of motion, which is why the recovery is equally important, and our rest days are also important. So with the one-on-one program, we definitely have 2 rest days a week. So we've got those 5 sessions, but we've got our recovery. It prepares your body for the load that's coming. So we are not just going full blast for 7 days in a week. And we are making sure that we actually combine it with higher intensity and lower intensity. So for those of you who do want to do a little bit more HIIT in your day, another option which I've seen some of our members do is they start off with, say, a lit class for 30 minutes if they need a little bit more, and then they go into, which is also going to prepare the body, warm you up, really get those joints lubricated, and then they go into a HIIT session for those who are not on the one-on-one and they do want to have a full sort of hour 45 HIIT session, which is also just finding that balance. You know, like you say, more isn't less, and overloading, and you're not going to see the benefits of just going for gold there. I wanted to call out a comment. Go for it.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, your training session is only as good as how much you can recover from it. If you're not recovering from your training, your body isn't improving. The improvements don't come during the training. They come during the recovery from the training.
Gold. And I think that is, if you take one thing away from what we've said today, that's probably one of the most important ones. I want to call out Leslie, who says that she's always enjoyed doing weight training, but she's never had the results that she has now doing the Jeff HIIT. So she says that for her is an absolute winner. And then Renata here, she said 30 minutes can be very long. So if you exercise 1 minute can be very long, depending on how long you're actually training for. Ed, I'm going to look for some more questions.
On the previous comment you just said, like the whole done weight training for a while and now is getting more results in the HIIT training. Like most people don't realize is, whereas weight training can be very beneficial and is very good in its own context, the amount of calories you're burning and the amount of effort you're putting in doesn't always equate to how much you think it is. Even though, like, yes, you're working hard, you're straining against load, it's very stop-start in its nature. So you'll spend a couple seconds doing a set and then rest for 2 minutes and then a couple seconds doing a set. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like HIIT training is just so much better at getting you to produce more effort in the same amount of time. Your heart rate revs up much higher. Yeah, your heart rate revs much higher. You're getting often a lot more sets and reps done in a given time period. So you're able to work a lot harder during a HIIT session than you otherwise would typically in a conventional weight training session.
Absolutely. And I think that is where some of our members are asking, is one HIIT enough? It's exactly what you just explained. The rest periods being so much shorter, the volume of work being so much bigger. And also, if you look at the cardiovascular benefit, the average heart rate and where we're peaking with our max heart rates, when you compare the two, you definitely get a little bit more bang for your buck when you do a HIIT session. Exactly what we always say, more is definitely not the answer. It is the quality of your work, and during those rest periods, if you push hard, how you know when you're getting that intensity right is when you're pushing so hard, definitely pushing safely, but pushing your heart rate up and getting max effort into your workload while you are on, that the rest periods you're actually using to just get your heart rate down, control your breathing, so that you can go again. Especially on the one-on-one, sometimes we have some of the sessions which are 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off, and we've got many of our clients saying right in the beginning, they'll say to us, I didn't need the 30 seconds. Well, for coaching, what we say then, well, if you didn't need the 30 seconds, we didn't push hard enough. So we didn't go at the intensity that we need to earn those rest periods, because they're short. But if you're working one-to-one, like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, you need to earn those 30 seconds. And the same for every interval that you're doing for your rest periods, you need to push that intensity. When you do it right, 30 minutes, it's right on the nose.
A nice little trick I like using is in a 30-second bout of work. Let's say we're doing mountain climbers and you get 20 reps in 30 seconds. Your next set, try and get 22 reps in. Try and get 25 reps in. Move faster, work harder. If you constantly challenge yourself to get more work done in that 30 seconds, bearing in mind you're doing this safely, trust me, you will want the 30 seconds rest afterwards.
Yeah, and that's a good way to flex your mental willpower. If you think about it like this, as we fatigue, it's very easy for us to start doing less work. As you're telling yourself, mentally, you're telling yourself, I'm tired now, it's okay. Like maybe I got 30 mountain climbers and now, it's okay to hit 20. But if you're really going to flex your willpower and you're going to go, you know what, I'm going to get 32 now. It's a really good way to sort of leave it all on the floor. By the end of your HIIT session, you are, many of our clients send us pics or videos where they're lying on the floor saying, you know what, I'm spent. Like, that's how you should feel, like literally dead. But again, we always say safely. So obviously, your limits better than anyone else. We're listening to the good cues. We're listening to the good form, where we should be tracking our knees over our middle, the middle toe. We're positioning our bodies, always looking at form. So that intensity is pushed, but it's not pushed to a point where we're losing form. So another good tip when you're doing HIIT is push that intensity, but the minute you start feeling like you are losing form, that's when you know you're going too hard, and just pull a little bit back. And in your mind, you're just thinking about form first, protect the joints, protect your back. So just like Kapano said in the beginning, think about where your trouble issues are, and that's going to point you to where you need your strengthening. But again, always think of how we're going to protect those areas the best. Good. I've got Hannah. It
just goes down to, sorry to interrupt you. It just goes down to there's a lot of benefit to get from a single session, but there's no use in busting yourself, breaking something, injuring yourself in one session, and then having to skip the next 3 weeks of training. You're much better at taking a step back if things don't feel right, regroup, recover, next session, come back with a bang.
Absolutely. And I see Candace here. She says her knees were so sore when she started, and the conversation is going about how the muscular strength is actually improving, that we're actually supporting the joints a little bit better. So if you are starting off with your HIIT sessions and you're finding that you've got stiffness, especially around the knees, you know, some of your joints might feel slightly stiff. So that's it's normal and it's par for the course. We're definitely taking cues from the body, and we're like Ed said, we're making sure that we're not overtraining and that we're listening to where our body is telling us pull back slightly. But it is very true that as we build up and we do more sessions safely, we do find, Sandine mentioned that her ankles were terrible in the beginning, much better now. Candace mentioned her knees showed great improvement. So it's important to also think we're not going to give up as soon as we find stiffness. And you know, as soon as we find stiffness, we're not giving up. But we're also listening to our bodies and knowing what is a normal stiffness and what is our body trying to say to us. Look, this is a no-go for us. And if you find those moves where it's definitely your body screaming at you saying no, then there are always modifications. So listen to those modifications. Look at the substitutes. You know, if you can't bear weight on certain joints, then don't be a hero. Don't do it. Modify it so that you can. And there's always a modification, and we'll keep bringing those to you as well.
There's always something you can add, change, substitute, modify for you. Just don't fight through joint pain. A little bit of muscular pain is fine, but never through joint pain. So it's all about just be mindful of your body, take in what signals it's telling you, learn the difference between your own fatigue making you feel like a coward. Coward makes fatigues of us. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. So learn what's you trying to give up, and what's your body actually telling you, listen, I need to take a step back here. Just be mindful, use your own discretion, be cautious, but work hard.
Awesome. I've got Michelle asking here, so is a HIIT and a lit class okay in one day? And again, this is specific to each and every person. If you're only starting off with your HIIT classes right away, we're not going to try and do 2 HIIT classes or even a lit and a HIIT class together. Some days you might find that your energy levels are slightly lower and you're more into a recovery. Then a lit class might be exactly what you need. So again, just I'm always going to go back to listening to your body and using that combination of lit or HIIT. Once you have built up your muscular endurance and your strength, if you feel strong on a day, yes, a HIIT and a lit is perfect. And the way I would do it is do a lit first, because that's almost going to prepare you for your HIIT. The other way is also fine, but again, it's slower and more controlled, and it's going to warm you up a little bit more. For some people, a lit is intense enough. So again, don't think when you do a lit class that you're supposed to be aiming for 2 classes, or you're supposed to be aiming for a HIIT class. You are supposed to be doing exactly what is good for your own body. So there is no blanket that's going to cover this, and that's how you're supposed to be training. And if you're not hitting that, you're not actually getting the benefits of your training. Okay, everyone at their own pace.
Yeah, you should just take a lit class as an opportunity for you to like dial in your form 100%, because it's less impact, it's slightly slower. Challenge yourself by making sure your form is 100%, your body's in perfect alignment. That's going to help teach you movement a little bit better, get your movement ability up. And a couple of weeks of that, when you translate it back to the HIIT sessions, it will even further improve the benefit of those.
Absolutely. It's almost got to become second nature, that it's like our default form, and your lit classes are really going to help you perfect your form, so that when you are going at a faster pace, it's almost like your default. So your form will be much better. So yeah, it's Capano says here, rest is so important. Allow the muscle to develop by healing it. Yeah, absolutely. And we're causing that micro trauma in the muscles, and you know, they do need to recover. That's how we are growing our muscle and actually building our muscle. So the lactic acid buildup, it doesn't mean that we can't train the next day. We obviously have to hydrate properly. A little bit of, like Edgar said, a little bit of muscular pain, that's normal. I mean, we all know what DOMS feel like. If anyone doesn't know what DOMS stands for, for. It's a delayed onset of muscle soreness, and that is between 24 and 48 hours. Normally worse the second day. And what we often find is if you really struggle with DOMS, doing something lower intensity, if you really, because sometimes it can, I mean, for me, it makes me moody, like literally moody. I'm in pain. And I'm not a nice person when I'm in pain like that. I'm just like, oh, don't touch me. So when you feel like that, it is not beneficial for you to go straight into another HIIT. So maybe then choose something a little bit more on the recovery side. Look at your stretch, look at your flow. If you feel up to a lit, do rather a lit. So again, pushing too hard, pushing that body into overdrive, it's not recommended.
Yeah, it's all about quality over quantity.
Exactly. Okay, I'm looking at one or two more comments. We've hit 1 o'clock, so we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. Michelle Rogers says, I need to learn to rest and understand that rest is gold. Yeah, I think on the one-on-one, one of the big focus points for us is some of our clients, the accountability is there to motivate you, but we do have many clients we actually have to rein in and go, hang on, pull back. We don't have to go at like 120 kilometers an hour. And that is exactly what you have to wrap your head around. Like some clients and some members, if you're finding yourself becoming so obsessive and trying to get as much as possible, you just have to go and think about how important your rest is. And then that is going to be so much more beneficial for your program.
Yeah, 100%.
Kesha says she does a 30-minute HIIT session every day for 5 days. On a rest day, she goes for a 5-kilometer run. I've often wondered if it's enough. Kesha, it's enough.
it's
Girl,
plenty.
it's
Don't
enough.
worry about it. That's a lot, actually. Bravo, you're doing well.
Yeah, remember to work that rest day in there. Hey, like that's more than enough.
Remember, you improve when you rest.
Absolutely. I've got Laka. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. She says, does it make a difference if you do HIIT in the morning or the afternoons, or should you do it on an empty stomach? Again, quite specific to each person, but I'm going to let you take that one, Ed.
So, like I said, there's a bajillion ways to skin a cat. Certain methods work better for some people. Certain methods work better for others. So you're going to have to listen to your body and also try and fit the exercise around your given lifestyle.
Exactly.
There are the benefits of doing a HIIT session in the morning and versus the evening are very individual. There's some evidence to suggest doing it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach has some benefits to it. But there's also some evidence to suggest that getting a couple meals in and doing the HIIT session later on gives you a little bit more fuel in your system. You're more energized. You're able to handle a little bit more workload, but it's very individual. Some people work great on an empty stomach in the morning. Some people, due to lifestyles, having a family, having a job, having a career, it's best to have a couple meals in and do your HIIT session later on. It's very individual. There's no right or wrong way to go about it. You're gonna have to listen to your body, fit this around your lifestyle. Definitely do not starve yourself for the sake of doing a HIIT session on an empty stomach. If you're not doing the exercise within 1 hour of waking up, definitely get a meal in. We don't want your blood pressure and your blood glucose to drop down while you're exercising. It's just gonna make you slow, lethargic. You're not gonna get as intense a workout in. So don't be afraid of food. Get food in your system. Food is fuel. If you're fueled up, you're energized, you're ready to go, you'll attack the session that much harder.
Exactly. And I think it's also, like you said, very specific to each client. For me specifically, I can't train on an empty stomach. My blood sugar levels are too low. My blood pressure will drop. So especially if you're coming down from like a movement that you're doing on the floor and you're coming up, it's actually quite dangerous if you don't fuel your body correctly. So specific to you, if you find you work better on an empty stomach, if you are going to eat and you're eating a meal, preferably don't exercise within the half an hour afterwards, because all your oxygen, everything's going to your tummy. So you'll find that you are a little bit more lethargic as well. So it's the timing, but also you play around with it a little bit. What works for you? If it works for you to fuel your body before, great. If it works for you to rather have something like a smoothie, like a high protein smoothie before you do a workout, which is going to give you energy, fuel you properly, but it's not so heavy on your stomach, then everyone is different. Like Edgar said, there is no right or wrong. Guys, these questions are incredible. I think, Edgar, you and I are going to have to go back on this thread and just, there are such
We'll go back
incredible
and start
questions.
answering everybody.
Yeah, I wish I had a whole hour here because I think this is super valuable and these questions coming through are so incredible. Coach Adrian said, oh no, he's answering. Sorry, there's a thread there that I can't see the first one. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up here. But like I said, Edgar and I are going to go through these comments. We're going to offer you some gems. So continue to just comment and ask us some questions. Perhaps we can pick it up again in the next Jeff Ed. I think these questions are such gold, and it's so nice to have someone to answer it for you instantly. But I just want to thank Coach Edgar. Fantastic, so insightful. And everyone who's joined us, it's incredible. There are 109 comments already.
No, brilliant. And guys, if you have any more questions, you want to see any more Jeff Eds, things you want us to tackle, talk about, please comment down below. Let us know what you're thinking. And yeah, we'll check you guys in the next one.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Cheers, cheers.
I am fiercely feminine because I'm strong. Pain does not break me. Not period pains, not labor pains, not heartache, not divorce, not even death. I go to war, and my armor is compassion, kindness, humility, patience, gentleness, and forgiveness. I was made for changes, challenges, and even corona. You can't stop me.